In this video, we will be discussing about shifting letters too. You are given a string S of lowercase English letters and a 2D integer array shifts, where shifts of I is start, end, and direction. For every I, shift the characters in S from the index start to index end, inclusive, forward if direction is 1, or shift the characters backward if direction is 0. Return the final string after all such shifts to S are applied. So what they are saying is that in the input, we are given a string S and we are given a array, a 2D integer array, which is shifts. Now in this shifts, we are always having three values, right? The first one is denoting the left or the start, the second value is denoting the right or the end, and the third value is denoting the direction. Now what we need to do is that within this range, left comma start, that is from 0 to 1, these are inclusive, 0 and 1. So in the range from 0 to 1, we need to shift the characters forward or backward on the basis of this direction, right? So if the direction is 0, if the direction is 0, then we need to move it backwards, right? And if the direction is 1, then we need to move it forward, right? So moving backward means that if I have a B, it will be changed to A. If I have a C, it will be changed to B. So if I have an A, then it will be changed to Z, right? So it is cyclically we are moving them backward, right? And what do they mean by forward? That A will be changed to B, B will be changed to C, C to D, and so on, and Z would be changed to A. That is what they mean by forward, right? So if you see in this particular shift, what we are given, left as 0, right as 0. From 0 till 1, we need to move the characters backward, right? So if we see from 0 to 1, we have A and B. So we will move them backward by 1, right? So this will become Z and this will become A, and C will remain as is. Then in the next query, the range is from 1 to 2. That is these two characters and the direction is 1. So then that means we need to move them forward. So this will become Z, B and D, right? Then what is the last query? 0 to 2 and forward. So entire range, and we need to move them forward by 1. So Z will be converted to A, B will be converted to C, D will be converted to E. So this is the final string, which is our answer, and we need to return it, right? So now if we try to convert these characters into numbers on the basis of their ASCII values, right? So basically, if I am considering a character from string S, let's suppose S of I. So if I do a minus A, right? So what it will do? For A, it will give me 0. For B, it will give me 1. For C, it will give me 2, and so on. And Z will give me 25. So all the numbers will come in the range 0 to 25, right? So A will be 0, B will be 1, and C will be 2. Now if we see from 0 to 1, we need to do direction 0, that is backwards. So then that means we will be doing a minus 1. So minus 1 here, and then here 1 minus 1 will become 0. So this will be 0, this will remain as is. Then from 1 to 2, we need to add a plus 1. So this one will remain as is. In these two, we will add a plus 1. So this will become 1, this will become 3. Then in this from 0 to 2, we need to add a plus 1. So minus 1 plus 1 will be 0, 1 plus 1 will be 2, and 3 plus 1 will be 4, right? Now, as I said, for A we have 0, for B we have 1, for C we have 2, for D we have 3, E we have 4, and so on, and for Z we have 25, right? So for 0 we have A, so this will be A. For 2 we have C, so this will be C. For 4 we have E, so this will be E, and this is our answer as we saw earlier, right? So basically, when you want to convert a character to the number, then you will do S of I minus A. And when you want to convert this number back to the character, so whatever is that number, let's suppose that is n, so you can add A to it and it will be converted to the character, right? So now the brute force over here would be that for each of the shifts, whatever is the range, I go to that particular range. Basically, I run another for loop for that range, starting from left and going till right, and then whatever is the direction, based on that, I convert the characters in that particular substring to the next character or to the previous character, right? But then the time complexity in that particular case would be order of n, where n I am denoting the number of shifts, and then inside this range could be anything, right? So let me denote it with m. So it will be n cross m, right? And in the worst case, this m would be equals to the entire string length, which you can see in this particular case, right? It is covering the entire string. right? So this approach is not efficient. We will have to optimize it. So see, for optimizing, what we can do is that instead of applying these shifts again and again on the string, we can find out that what is the net difference that a particular character will be having. Basically, this A, first here it converted to Z, then here also it was Z, and then it got converted back to A. Finally, this A was converted to A only, right? It remained the same. If we see this B, so earlier it was B, then it got changed to A, then it got changed back to B, and then it got changed to C, right? But the final thing is that the B got changed to C. So this final difference we will calculate, right? So for that, what we will do is we will create a difference array, right? We will create a difference array whose size will be equals to the size of this string plus 1, right? So here the size of the string is 3. So we have created this array of length 4. If I give the indices, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? And initially in this, we can keep all the values as 0, right? Now what are we going to do? So let us suppose that we are given a query that from 1 to 2, we need to move the characters in forward direction. Then that means these two characters have to be moved to the next character, right? So what we will do is that this was left, right? This was right, and this is direction. So what we will do is that add the index right plus 1 in this particular array that we have created. We will add a plus 1, right? So what that will denote? So here right is 2. So 2 plus 1, that is 3. So at index 3 we will add a plus 1, right? So this will become 1. So basically this one will denote that all the characters which are present to the left of it, we need to move them forward by 1, right? This is what this one is denoting. But if you see over here, our range was from 1 to 2. Only these two characters have to be moved, not this one, right? So for that, what we will do, that at the index left, we will do a minus 1, right? So this one here left is 1. So this will become minus 1, right? So for this C, if you see, you will start from here. This is 1. So in C, you will add a 1. So this will become D, right? And then 0. So 1 plus 0 would be 1 only. So this will also be converted to next character, that is C. Then you will have a minus 1 over here. So your difference was 1. So 1 minus 1 will become 0. Then that means in this A, we need to add a 0. So A will remain as is, right? So that is why we kept a minus 1 over here. So this denotes that within this particular range only, we need to move the characters in the forward direction, right? So this thing will happen only when the direction is 1, right? So if I remove this, so if the direction is 1, right? Only in that particular case we will do this. Otherwise, if the direction is 0, we will do the opposite, because in that case we need to move backwards, right? So at the index right plus 1, we will add a minus 1, and at the index left, we will add a plus 1, right? So if I show you a dry run for our sample test case, so initially all of these will be 0. So now what is the first query? That from 0 to 1, the direction is 0, right? So we will come here, at right plus 1, we will do a minus 1. Right is 1. 1 plus 1 will be 2. So at index 2, we will add a minus 1. So this will become minus 1, right? And at left, that is index 0, we will add a plus 1, right? So this will become 1. Then we'll move to the next query. So here the direction is 1, so we'll go here. At right plus 1, which will be 2 plus 1, that is 3, we will add a plus 1. So this will become 1. Then at left, that is 1, we will add a minus 1. So this will become minus 1. Then we'll move to the next query. Here the direction is 1, so we'll come here. Right plus 1, which is 2 plus 1, that is 3, we will add a plus 1, right? So this will become 2. And at left, which is index 0, we need to add a minus 1. So 1 minus 1, this will become 0. So this is what our final difference array looks like after the shifts, right? Now, with this difference array, we can find out our final string. How? So what we will do is that we will take a variable, let's suppose difference, and we will initialize it to 0. And now we will start traversing from the back of this particular array, basically from right to left, right? So basically your loop will run from I equals to n. If let's suppose this n is the size of the string s, right? So this size will be n plus 1. So the last index in this would be n, right? So here we will run a for loop of I starting from n, and it will go till greater than 0, and we'll do I minus 1, right? Now inside this, what we will do is that in the difference we will add. So if let's suppose the name of this array is difference array. So in this we will add whatever is present in the difference array at the index I, right? And then we will identify our new character, right? So basically, let me move it a little down. So if you see, when you will start from here, this 2 will be added to the difference. So the difference will become 2. So then that means in this particular character, I need to add a plus 2, right? And then another thing to notice over here is that our index is starting from n, right? So right now I is 3, which is this particular index in the difference array. But corresponding to this, we need to consider this index in the string s, which is I minus 1, right? So we will consider I minus 1 for string s and I for the difference array, right? Now what we need to do is that whatever is this particular character, we need to add a 2 to it, right? So now this is a character. We cannot simply add 2 in it. First, we will have to convert it to a number by subtracting a from it. Then we will add this, and then we'll convert it back to a character, right? So basically, as I said, we will consider I minus 1th index, right? In this, first we will subtract a. So this will convert it to a number, right? And then we will add the difference to it, right? So what will happen is, so right now this is C, right? C is 2. So this will give us 2. In that difference, 2 will be added. So this will become 4. And then we will convert this 4 back to a character. So this will become E, right? So for converting it back to a character, here you can add an A to it, right? So it will be converted back to a character, right? So this C will become E. And if you know, in the final answer, it was E only, right? If I write this string here, so this will become E. Then we will move to the next index. So I will become 2. This is minus 1. So the difference will be 1 now, right? 2 minus 1 will be 1. So this is 1. So we'll consider this, right? This B is 1. In 1, we will add the difference, which is 1. So this will become 2. And this will be converted back to a character, which is C. So this will be C. Then our I will become 1. Here we have a minus 1. So 1 minus 1 will be 0. The difference will become 0. So this A is going to remain as is, right? And then our I will become 0. But here the loop is from I greater than 0. So we will stop here. And this is our final string, which is our answer, right? So with the help of this difference array, without iterating for each of this range inside the string S, we were able to build our final string, right? Now, few things to keep in mind over here is, before we jump on to the solution. So when we are doing plus 1 minus 1 over here, now it might be possible that when you are doing this plus difference, so as you see here, we are having only from 0 to 25, right? A is from 0 and Z is 25, right? So this number, whatever we are getting, this should be in the range 0 to 25, right? But if let's suppose we are having a Z over here, right? And now you came across a direction of 1. So when the direction is 1, you need to add a plus 1, right? So it might be possible that it gets converted to 26 or 27 or 28 after we do this, right? So we will have to keep it within the range of 0 to 25, right? So for that, what we will do is that here we will calculate the net shift, and this net shift will be equals to difference modulo 26 plus 26 modulo 26. And then here also we will do a modulo by 26, and here instead of difference we will use the net shift, right? Now why we are doing this? So see, this difference mod 26 will basically convert that if any number is greater, let's suppose the difference is 27. So 27 mod 26 will give you a 1, right? So basically any number will get converted to the number within the range 0 to 25 with the help of this, right? Then why we are adding a plus 26 over here? So see, we are handling the negative numbers over here. Let us suppose that the number is minus 2, right? So minus 2 is denoting that from A, I will go minus 2 from the back, right? So here minus 2 modulo 26 will give you minus 2 only. But then we are adding a 26 over here. right? So minus 2 plus 26 will be 24, and then 24 modulo 26 will remain 24 only, right? So it is denoting 24 from the back, right? So initially it was minus 2, but with the help of minus 2, we cannot calculate the corresponding character, right? We need these numbers from 0 to 25. Our number cannot be a negative number, right? So that is why we are adding a 26 over here, and it is being converted to 24, which is y that we need over here. If from A we go back to two characters, it will be y, right? And that is what we are getting over here, 24, right? So you can imagine that we are having A, B, C, D till Z, and then again we are having A, B, C, D till Z, right? So when you are adding a 26, so let's suppose it is 3, so which is here, right? D is 3. Now in that you are adding 26, right? So 26, 3 plus 26 will become 29, right? Which will be here, 29. But then you are also doing a mod with 26, which will give you 3 only, right? So in the positive, it will remain the same, but in the negative, it will get converted to the corresponding 0 to 25 range, right? So that is why we are doing this. And then here also, for keeping it within the range of 0 to 25, we are doing a mod with 26. So this was the main thing that you need to keep in mind. So let's quickly look at the code. So first of all, let's take the size of string s in n. Then we will create a vector, which will be our difference array, right? Its size we will keep as n plus 1, and initially all the values will be 0. Now we will update it with the help of the shifts vector. So for auto shift in shifts, and then inside this r left will be shift of 0, right will be shift of 1, and the direction is shift of 2, right? Now if the direction is 1, in that particular case, in the difference array, at the index right plus 1, I need to add a plus 1. And in the difference array, at the index left, I need to add a minus 1, right? Else, if the direction is 0, then in the difference array, at the index right plus 1, I need to add a minus 1, right? And on the index left in the difference array, I need to add a plus 1, right? We can also do minus equals to 1 also over here. So that will also work. So after we are done with this loop, our difference array will be updated with the net differences that we have, right? Now for our answer, we can take another string. Let's suppose result. Its size is going to be equal to the size of the string s, that is n, and initially we can keep all the characters as anything, like a space, right? You can keep anything, and then we'll take a variable difference which will be initialized with 0. Then we will run a for loop inside a difference array from right towards left. So I will start from n, and it will go till greater than 0, and then we'll do I plus plus. Now inside this, in the difference, we will add whatever is present in the difference array at the index I, right? Then we will calculate the net shift. So the net shift will be difference modulo 26 plus 26, and then again a modulo with 26, right? Now in the string s, we are considering the index I minus 1, right? So in result string also, we will consider the index I minus 1. So in res, at the index I minus 1, we will update it to what? So the current character is I minus 1th index in string s. First, let's convert it to a number by subtracting a from it, right? Then let's add the net shift to this. After adding the net shift, let's do a modulo with 26 so that it remains within the range of 0 to 25. Now this will give us a number. Let's convert it back to a character by adding a over here. So with this, we will be able to get our string. At the end, we can return this resultant string. Let's run the code. So here we had to do a minus minus. So here if you see, we are running a for loop for the shifts vector, right? So if let us suppose that the length of the shifts vector is m, so this would be running m times, right? And then here we are running a for loop for our difference array whose size is equals to n plus 1. So we can consider that this loop is running n times, right? Because it is greater than 0. So we can say that the time complexity of this code will be order of n plus m, right? And the space complexity will be, so we have taken only the difference array as the extra space, right? And its size is n plus 1, right? So we can say that the space complexity is order of n. Let's submit this. So it got accepted. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe our channel.